Hi, I'm Erica Wides, a chef instructor at the Institute of Culinary Education in New York City, and I'm here for About.com. Today, I'll be making Thai Tom Yum soup. To make the Tom Yum Goong, we have to start out with shrimp. And what we need to do with these shrimp is peel and devein them, because the shrimp shells will actually be going in the stock to flavor our soup. To peel and devein the shrimp, take a sharp knife, lay the shrimp down on your board, and just cut along the back, cutting right through the shell. That way you can open up the shrimp, peel off the shell, and at the same time pull out the vein. Lemongrass is an herb that grows in Southeast Asia, and lemongrass has a very tough outer couple of layers that we want to remove. And then what I want to do with the lemongrass is cut off the very bottom. So just take your knife and cut that part off. And what you want to really use is this. It's the kind of center middle bit of the lemongrass where it'll be a little more tender and a little bit more flexible. And with the back of my knife, just lightly crush it a little bit. It makes the lemongrass juices start to flow a little bit. Then take the knife and cut on an angle, just some large pieces. We want to put 2 stalks of lemongrass into this soup, along with the shells of about a dozen shrimp. Nice long pieces. Okay, so those will go in the stock for the soup. And then the next ingredient is kaffir lime leaf. The kaffir lime is a citrus fruit that grows in Southeast Asia, and it's a very, very sour lime. And to really get the flavor out of these, you want to kind of crunch them up a little bit. So 4 kaffir lime leaves, kind of crunched up a little bit, like that. Now the stock for this soup can be simply water, or it can be fish stock, or you can even use chicken stock. I'll be using chicken stock today. What you just want to remember is that you use a chicken stock that has no salt. I'll be using about 1 quart of chicken stock. So all of this goes into the pot with the stock, and we want to bring this up just to a simmer. So we want to give it about 10 minutes at a gentle simmer. So once it comes up to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat down. Now while the Tom Yum soup stock is simmering, we want to get some of the other ingredients ready that we'll add to it once it's been strained. We'll be adding shiitake mushrooms to the soup. So we want to slice up about 6 or 8 shiitake mushrooms. So Tom Yum soup is a very hot, spicy, sour soup, and a lot of that flavor actually comes from this, which is called Tom Yum paste. This is a paste made from chilies and shallots and garlic and a little bit of sugar that's been cooked in oil until it's really sticky and caramelized and dark, and then it gets ground up. So we'll be adding this to our stock once it's strained. But along with the Tom Yum paste, we want to add some fresh chili. These are Thai bird's eye chilies. Remember, with chilies, the smaller they are, the hotter they are. So we'll be slicing this up, leaving in the seeds. We'll also be adding the peeled shrimp, and we'll be adding a lot of lime juice. So the stock has been simmering now for about 10 minutes. You don't want to simmer for much longer than that because you don't want too much evaporation. And now we're ready to strain this. So I have another pot set up here, and I'll strain my stock. Then we want to put this back on the heat and bring it back up to a simmer. So here we have the shiitake mushrooms, the shrimp, and the chilies, and those are all going to go back in the stock now. Remember that shrimp really only need a minute or 2 to cook. And just bring that back up to a simmer and give it just a minute or 2. So now the shrimp are cooked, the mushrooms are cooked, so I'm taking this off the stove, and you can see the shrimp have just curled and they're just opaque. So now we'll be adding the Tom Yum paste to the soup. So I added about 1 tablespoon of the Tom Yum paste to this. At the end, we'll taste the soup and decide if we want more in there or not. The sour comes from lime juice, and you'll notice that the lime juice is going into the soup after it's come off the stove because we want the lime juice to taste absolutely as fresh as possible. So I'm adding the juice of about 2 limes to this. You want the soup to be sour. And then the next ingredient is our fish sauce. And remember, the fish sauce is what adds saltiness. So I'm going to add maybe another 2 tablespoons of fish sauce to my soup. And then finally, we want to add sweetness. I'm going to start out with probably 2 teaspoons of palm sugar. Scoop it out. Now we'll just stir, let all of that dissolve in there. So once the soup is in the bowl, I'll just pluck a few cilantro leaves. So I like to just put in whole leaves and a few Thai basil leaves, just torn. And you can serve it with a little lime wedge too. So this is Thai Tom Yum soup. Thanks for watching. To learn more, visit us on the web at about.com.